Hello, ladies and gentlemen over there. It is time for the Benjamin Zulu Show, and today we have an exciting one as always. All right. Now, today again, Benjamin is going to dissect some of the areas in our lives that we have always been ignoring. Some of us think that we are okay and we are whole. Yet, there are those subtle things in our lives that are actually affecting our relations at the end of the day. For instance, you'd realize that some of us were preconditioned to overwork for love. That for us to actually be loved, and because we have never had a chance to earn unconditional love, we actually believe that we have to actually suppress our being in order to be loved. Now, how do you overcome that conditioning of overworking for love? That is what we are talking about today. Hello, Benjamin.
Hello. And there are two things I want to differentiate here. That we are not saying, many people don't capture unconditional love in their mind because I think they have heard love requires work. They've heard that for it to work, you must work it.
Yeah.
The notion out here is that stand out, don't just be lost in the masses, add value to yourself, and so the winning is always associated with doing more and effort.
That is how some of us have been preconditioned.
So there have been a lot, and there's another show which today we are not going that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes parents condition you to only be appreciated for work you do, for the chores you perform, for the grades you bring home. That is another show, and people can go watch it. Today we are taking another direction of you yourself overworking. Now let's start here. I'll tell you a paradox, and then you'll understand it by the time we finish show. Number one, we are saying people must love you for who you are, not because of what you are doing to win their love. But after they have loved you, the love itself will make you do things for them.
Yeah.
Hey, so we work because of love, not in order to win love. That may resonate with another language you heard about salvation, right?
Yes. You're right.
That once you become saved child of God, you will do good. You don't do good to earn salvation. You do good because you have salvation. Okay. Today we're talking about love and romance. Somebody must love Bramwell for the person he is, for the way he exists.
Yeah.
Your energy, your oomph, the way you carry yourself, the way you exist, how you think, your energy, what you live for, how fun you are, how you are attentive, how you are just thoughtful, your manner of life, how you look. Don't marry a girl and you keep secretly complaining that she's too short. When she goes out, you tell her, but guys, that girl will tell you clearly you're doing this girl an injustice.
Yeah.
You're wishing she was different. And on the other side, you love this, don't like the other. No. Do you love her as she is? Many people ignore that part. Many people ignore that part, and they end up forgetting that part. You must love this person as they are now. But automatically nobody stays where they are for life. In fact, we said, as you love me, it brings me to life, to become better of what you liked already. But it was not a condition. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm loving you on condition that within 1 year. Sign here. No. I'm loving you the way you are. So don't love a person who is drinking, hoping they stop
Drinking.
Yeah. That's a mistake people do. The vices you see, there might be a makeup structure of who they are. Please. Some people, alcohol is one of the building blocks of their life. Okay? Some people, cheating is part of the cornerstone of their life. Okay? Please. There's some people wasting money and buying expensive things. It's part of what makes their life, brings flavor. They live only once. Please. Stop marrying hoping this stops. Hoping you stop this soon. As a person, you like them for who they are. Now let's bring it inward. You need to understand the way you are going to accept people is the way you need to be accepted. The way you want a person who feels enchanted by you as a person. The energy you emanate. And Brahma, I want you to have a girl you can admire when she's asleep. Mm-hmm. And a girl who can admire you when you're asleep. When you're not putting any effort to impress. We love our babies even when they don't know what is to be loved. When they can't even comprehend love. When they're asleep, when they're playing. You feel entertained. That is pure love. And that's what you want. So you want a person who loves you for the way you exist. So if a person has frequent comments of, you're too this, or too that, or too that, there's no pure love. When I love my child and they're playing and see, sometimes I can observe that they're gaining too much weight and I can simply ration down the food. Am I saying, no, I don't love you? No, when you love something, you tend to it, you maintain it. You maintain healthy things and all that. When you kiss them good night, even when they can't see you and they are asleep, you are not expecting good night back, they are asleep. But it's the love for them you have that you're exercising. Pure love for your lover is when you miss to see them, even without them having to do a lot of things for you. Pure love loves you for the way you exist. And because you love them, now they start to blossom more. To become better. We say the biggest compliment is when people allow you to be yourself. Mm-hmm. It's the biggest compliment. I want to use an illustration here and ask you, what's your impression of this jug? Of course, it's not pure gold, it's just an impression of it. And the stuff we buy here, it may not, they just want to mimic gold, to give us that look. I'm sure there are some that are pure gold. One day when we get there, we'll get those ones. For now. What is your impression? What would you say when you see it the first time?
So beautiful.
So beautiful. Very good. When you go to buy it, you expect a what? A price tag.
Yeah.
If you want this beautiful thing, this is what you're going to pay. Are we together? Mm-hmm. That is your expectation. Maybe you might be ready to ask me, I want it so much. There's some discount. Can I pay installment? Okay, what if I add this? You can negotiate to pay the worth to get it. All right? Mm-hmm. But what if you arrived at the display and you found that it has some money placed on it? Instead of price tag, it has money. You'll be shocked. Yes. Somebody forgot. What is it? Oh, no, sorry. Now, that one, it is going to gather that money. Whoever wants it can also take that money. What is it with it? Mm-hmm. You know, people have been complaining it's too black, it's, too big. And we thought, in order to help it to go, we can place. What will you think? Am I missing something?
Yeah.
I thought this was a beautiful thing. Is it fake? Is it? Maybe there's something that you know that I don't know. Mm-hmm. You most likely don't bother with it.
Yeah.
And yet, you loved, without any of this money, you loved it because of the blackness, first of all, and the contrast with gold. And the way it is big and bold and present, and it has handled like it's meant to serve with royalty of sorts.
Yeah.
It's not plastic, it's fragile. But the perception of the owner about it confused you. Mm-hmm. Today I'm talking to those people who, they're so precious and golden and black and golden and beautiful. But their perception of themselves distorts how the world sees them. Yeah. And on their own, you admire them as they pass. Even to get to sit, you invite them for coffee. When they show up, you're very happy. Yeah. You buy them lunch and you feel complimented that you spend time with such a good. But soon she starts apologizing. She cuts stories in between to apologize that she has talked too much. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. Maybe I'm talking too much, I'm sorry. Why are you interrupting such a trend of thought? I like it. Then you start wondering, where is that coming from? Mm-hmm. It's nowhere here. You're this handsome guy, confident, I like it. I'm just happy to hear what you're doing. But you're so afraid to talk. I buy you lunch, you start wondering, have I inconvenienced your finances? I realize you paid lunch. Can I? No, I'm sorry, have I inconvenienced? What are you apologizing for? You deserve this. I'm just so happy to be with you. What is happening? What is happening? They're repeating something they've heard. The seller has had so many complaints about their goods. They came to believe them. There came malicious people. But now look at this. No one wants black things. Do you have white? They believe now. I've dropped the price. Now what do you have? Well, actually, we have 90% discount. Why are you disposing such a good thing at a throwaway price? Because of your perception of its value. Today we have people who, they're coming from a relationship, either with their parent or with a lover, who they had wrong messages, false interpretation of their worth so frequently that they internalized it. And they carry it along as an extra effort to be likable, to add some money. Despite the value they are in, you meet them and they extend quickly. They give themselves away sexually. They give you some money. Naturally, they are so created to operate in a royal way. But the message they heard and heard and heard made them think they are not good enough. They start adding some discounts to overwork, to give extra, to attract, to at least be loved. This is how you have seen people who, they are the ones who are paying bills, they are the ones who are paying everything, and the partner is physically abusive. This is how it gets there.
Yeah.
This is how it gets to the place where the person you expected to be in charge of the dynamic, or maybe they look happy, they're the ones holding the union together, paying everything, and they're still being cheated on. Treated in a demeaning way. But they think they have to do a lot to change that person, keep them in my life at least. And this is why African women, because this is how they were treated. African women were told they are less than men. They are less humans for being a woman. And they were told a woman who does not have her man, she is useless. They were told that even if he's cheating out there, as long as he comes home to you, you are the winner.
Yeah.
You are better than those other women who he just sleeps with and leaves them there. You at least he comes to you and so you are beautiful. Just stay there. Add it, give discounts. You are not that valuable. That is the message that was inculcated. There are men today who they try to tell their father that my wife is not faithful to me, she's demeaning to me, she's talking condescending. He himself has been treated that way so long. So man, that's how marriages are. They are no good. There's nothing better you can get. There are women today who can tell their mother how she's being mistreated, and the mother will say, there's no better. That's how, as long as he's coming home, that's all. Women, men, people have been conditioned to think, I'm not enough as I am. So it's foreign to be treated according to their worth. I want to tell you 3 strategies to get out of this cocoon. It's an invisible jail. It's an invisible prison. It's an underground enclosure. You are somewhere beneath the surface where you're supposed to be. Invisible. It's invisible. But mentally you're so below everybody and everyone that anybody shows you attention, you overwork quickly. Yet they'd appreciated the worth you have by your nature. One is the first place you start. If you're already in a relationship, take a retreat to yourself. Sometimes it will be accompanied by several days away from the physical place you live. To be accompanied by taking daily. Sometimes it's not possible to go out of town to some place. Life may not allow that too often. But Brahma, if you just go to another place, even during daytime, to see another, the condition is so strong, it usually requires measures that are emotionally shocking to arouse something. Most of the mistreatment has been happening in your environment, at home, at work. You've been accommodating that kind of demeaning and cheap treatment all around. So, everything around you is familiar to that. Get out from where you are. Just go to a hotel outside town, and think, who was I meant to be? Was this, because they don't enjoy it, it's uncomfortable, but they think they deserve, that's all they can get. They've been selling cheap, selling like plastic, Not selling like gold. Like the ones are meant to be for the palace. They're used to that. But it's still uncomfortable. If you sense that you've been doing too much, bending too low, working too hard to earn love, and you know it, pause and take a retreat. Allocate a day and go somewhere outside where you usually don't go. It can be a hotel where you just go take soda and reflect. Why? This kind of conditioning is environment attached. And in fact, when people do this kind of change, they end up changing most of the places they used to go, the cars they would drive, the house, because the new you doesn't want those triggers. The first step is to pause and step out. Stepping out, if you are already in marriage, is to go to another place and think. It can be a day, or if you can afford 3 days, the better. You can afford a place to allow you to question the fundamental operating system of your life. Do I deserve this? This is the life I want. It will help greatly if you go to a new place. Place that is stimulating. Brahma, avoid fast foods. You can't think in a fast food joint. Are we together?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a busy, buzzing, beehive activity place. No. Please, are we together? Don't go to drive-through. I'm talking about hotels that have environments.
Yeah.
Nature. Nature allows you to connect with your roots, your deep inmost. Those places, they are free to enter. You just buy something when you go there. So it's not about budgeting, really. And you can take Jews. They don't have minimums. Force the issue. Force the issue. Go outside, somewhere, and think. Ask yourself the fundamental. Did I want to live like this? As a first step. If you're not married, pause seeking for partner. Because if you marry on this level, you marry a person who treats you on that level. Only a few elements of people who married a person who treasured them. When they themselves, they trashed themselves. Yeah. Are we together?
Yeah.
I've heard of people who, the person who married them was the one who lifted them. Those cases happen, but I've heard so few. You can't count on it. Most people will take you for what you sell yourself. It's very hard when you find the seller selling you together with discounts and gifts and money to say, no, I want to pay myself. I know the value of this. It's very hard, isn't it? I know the value. Let me pay that. No. You're likely to go, oh, the seller is selling. You've been exploited because you've allowed it. If you are not yet married, you are lucky to hear this. A lady asked me why she only has relationships that are overworking her, demanding, and people are talking, the boss is talking down, colleagues talking down, parents talking down, all this talking down. The problem is the one being talked down. She allows it. She does not have, where is the gauge? How do we calibrate my value? What do I deserve? What's my price? They are walking over you because you are down there like a mat. You lift yourself up here like a chandelier. Nobody can walk on you. They learned that you can take that. Yeah. People have a 60th sense for how much you respect yourself. And they test boundaries, like children. Yeah. They poke to see how much it will be allowed, how much they can get away with. The second, so if you're not married, pause and do the same process. Ask yourself who you are. You can see it at work. You can see it everywhere you interact with people, how they treat you. And you don't like it. Nobody enjoys mistreatment. Only that people don't know whether they have an option. Okay?
Yeah.
The second step, Brahma, is to do what we call installing a new operating system. So you have gone and questioned the existing. So that you can disagree with it with clarity. Okay. No, I don't want this. No. Always trust at work, straight at home. Even when you don't have self-value, even children of 3 years, they sense it. They talk back at you. Yeah. They shout at you. Even workers. They show you attitudes. And because you never do anything. You just, everybody's pushing you. Imagine if your children disrespecting even this worker. The problem is you. Step out. Question, is this me? No, is this me? Don't go with anybody, go alone. Because you are a pleaser, you are a worker, you overwork. This time I want you alone. And you must force the issue. If you don't, you will think briefly while you are watching the show. And the thought is carried away. The soul was sold. But for some seeds, as soon as he had sold, some birds came and carried. If you stay there, birds will come and carry. Or you grow shortly and for lack of root, you dry up. The second thing is to install a new operating system of values, principles, and purpose. Values is what is important. From today, self-respect is important. Yeah. From today, I'm going to sacrifice friendship to maintain self-respect. I'm going to sacrifice relationships, company, being liked and all that, for the sake of respect. And I'm willing to lose anybody who cannot talk to me in a cautious manner. Anybody who's trying to take advantage of me, however painful it might be, I'm willing to lose them. Let me remain alone, or with those few who will come in and respect. They want to be respected. I'm a decent person and I expect decency. You call me a fool, you don't remain in my life again. There's some people, you're in this group we're talking about because people have been calling you a dog, prostitute. They've been calling you things and you're being brushing over it because for you it does not register. Yeah. But now you install a new system saying nobody will ever call me names as long as I live. I'm happy to be alone and at peace. I'll no longer swallow trash again. You install a new operating system. You install it quietly and privately and then begin to communicate it to everybody around you. Excuse me, I know you've been calling me names, but I wanted to inform you I'm no longer taking that. I'm not taking that. And I'll not hear any conversation if you can't talk with decency. Other people will try to withdraw, treat you with silence. When people try to mistreat you even in business, you walk away. You walk away. Forget the deal. Forget the deal. Time you try to treat me like somebody down there, forget it. I'll leave money, I'll leave jobs. Soon the whole environment will respond. It will take you a lot of emotional energy to exert what I'm saying. Yeah. It will take you a lot of preparation to lose, to lose that person, to lose that job. Preparation to say, I must confront this fear. I want a peaceful life. I want dignity now, above everything else. And anybody, can we have decency first of all, before we talk? Don't shout at me, don't raise voice. I don't want condescending language. Calm down, tell me what you want. And use respect. A child, man, you are throwing tantrums. Wait for them to finish throwing. When you finish, that's not communication. Communicate. And I want respect, by the way. Process your emotions away from me. Don't come here for performance on drama and circus. Install a new operating system. Take your worth and brush it and admire it and wake up to your true worth and say, now stick a new price tag according to your impression of how many carats is gold, what is the capacity. Check is the written capacity 1 liter, check capacity, and now adjust the price to match the value. Yeah. Say, I'm going back. Singer was saying, I'm going back to my roots. I'm going back to who I am. Now, many of those who are hanging around you as scavengers, they'll fall off. They couldn't really afford you. They were depending on the fact that you are asleep on your value. They knew it, but they hope you don't get to know it yourself. So be prepared for people to fall off. But then those who belong to this category, who begin now to show interest, they will come to your life. So brush off who used to be. And remember that many people who you had gathered around you that time had been attracted by the discounts. They're trying to buy your own at a discount. The last step is to redefine the reason you are living. Bramwell, when you don't have a reason, you have no route. All route, direction, and the paths you're taking in junctions are informed by the destination. Many people who are taking mean treatment were living for images and appearances. They were addicted to being owned, to being praised and being possessed by a person, held by a person. Hold yourself first and say, for as long as I'm at peace with myself, that's good enough. From today, my purpose of living, number 1, is to have a peaceful existence. Number 2, is to touch lives. There are many others who suffer what I suffered. I'm going to teach them what I discovered. I'm going to set the captives free. Those who are being sold at discounts when actually they're supposed to be selling at premium prices. I'm the one to set them free. I was once there. The other purpose always involves your particular passion. Some people have passion in economics, in environment. you will make a revolution there. In a small scale or large scale, whatever scale is placed in your hands, you will touch humanity in a wide sense in that career you are in. The second thing is what you suffered personally, and you have healed now. There are many others who suffer. You're going to heal them. Yes.
I like that, Benjamin, and I like that illustration. Benjamin, for me to earn that kind of love, I'm supposed to be aware of my worth. Some people have grown into that environment that has been so toxic, that this kind of information or this kind of valueness is so embedded into their system. So there is need for them to go back to the junction and call themselves a meeting as you're saying it.
You're right.
But it requires courage, Benjamin.
Yes.
You see, it is like addiction. You always say that life does not entertain a vacuum.
You're right.
Right? If you want to deal with addiction, Benjamin, the first thing is to call a meeting with yourself and ask yourself a question: why do I need to get out of this addiction? The beauty of that is it is going to help you develop the energy for consistency.
You're right.
How are these people going to go back to the junction and identify the energy that is needed for consistency in their worth?
And that's true because we have jailbirds, people who finish their sentences or get released from jail, and they do other mistakes deliberately to go back there.
Yeah.
Bad relationships and being on the receiving end of life can also become so ingrained that you don't know how to function with freedom. And those who return to jail, when they're interviewed, they say there's free food there.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're thinking of there's more free food they find there. They have lost taste for freedom. And they've lost taste for a direction, purpose and objective and larger goals of their life. How to never go back to prison is to ask yourself what you wanted with your life before the prison.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, whether you want the pain and the experiences of really in prison. There may be a few sweet things like free food there. And security, maybe you're out here, you are not, thieves don't come to attack you inside there. There may be a few look-like benefits. This person pays my bill, supports me, gives me this image. This woman is a mother of my children. At least that when she's there, I cannot be said not to have a wife. You can count me a few benefits for having a bad relationship. But at what cost? What life did you want?
Mm-hmm.
When you remember the life you truly want, you see, this one I can't go there with it. I want a peaceful life, happy life. And you keep hoping one day this one will convert to that. And you know very well it won't. How to not relapse and remind yourself midway as you climb. Because the climbing can get tiresome.
Yeah.
When you're losing the people. People will relapse into drugs. They tell you it's about the craving and losing of objective, losing the larger goal. Mm-hmm. If you forget it for a moment, you get carried away. But if you remind yourself, you gain energy again. Mm-hmm. So the principle you have to remind yourself that every time you heal, every time you remind yourself, every time you move, there will be a temptation. There's a breaking point that really comes to test your determination. Mm-hmm. There may come a person questioning your new behavior, questioning your new determination, questioning whatever you're doing, and painting it in a very bad way. It can be your mother, it can be your father. Yeah. It can be a person who you respected their voice. But you'll never be tempted beyond your strength. Mm-hmm. You'll never be tempted beyond what you can endure. Remember, for you to, elevation requires separation.
Yeah.
The moment you require to elevate, decide to elevate to where you belong, there will be a series of separations from environments that were exploitative and not valuing you. Now, those separations will always feel like a pain, a pinch. If you endure them, finally you feel the breeze. Somebody said, whenever you feel like turning back, remind yourself where you first started.
Exactly.
And somebody said, the climb may be hard, but the view from the top is worth it. It's worth it. When you finally reach the top, you say it was worth it. Mm-hmm. And that freedom and sensation of living in your truest sense is worth all the climb.
Good. So in other words, Benjamin, you're saying that those people who are in this kind of marriages, my marriage is the way it is because somehow of who I am.
Exactly. Your marriage and your job and whatever is happening, relationships and friendships, even your relationship with your sick family, whether they are sick or they are healthy or they are happy or they are toxic, how they are affecting you, determined by you. how your partner is treating you, you are the barometer.
Yeah.
You're the one who is allowing the rise and the fall and the fluctuation. You may not change her behavior, but you can decide how much of it you will participate in. You may not determine how people treat you or take you or respect you or not, but you can determine what will exist in your space, what is allowed. So a person saying, sometimes that uncle who kept their distance from the family will start making sense as you grow up. You start appreciating where they were coming from. They think there's some uncles who looked aloof and we thought they are the bad ones.
Yeah.
And they never showed up for family events, or they came and they're very distant. So they're labeled as the black sheep. But the more you grow, you realize some families are so sick. That was the only healthy person. Of course, we're not saying alienating family, but there are some families who are so sick. For you to maintain your safety and your sanity, only distance can do that.
Yeah.
So it's to say, how your marriage is what you're allowing. How your relationship is what you're allowing. Once you wake up now to your worth, I'm golden, I'm princely, I'm queenly, meant to parade. It's black and gold, kingly colors. That's my identity, dignity, peace, respect. I'm a decent person. I want happiness and true friendship. I want peace and to sleep at night. I want to talk with those we can laugh and talk deep and encourage each other. That's what I want. And I want to rule in my life. I don't want to be ruled. I want to call the shots. I want to pay bills. I want to help. I want to be on top. I will not be at the bottom. Once you decide that, anybody who can't rhyme that, you happily release them. And once you lose the fear of losing people, you're finally free.
Yeah.
Once you lose, I'm no longer afraid to lose people. You're finally free. They come to realize either they come at your terms or they leave you alone. So at the end of the day, those who settle in my life are those whom we are in terms. Those who are not up to my standards, want to take advantage of me, they can't sit for long because I don't allow it, and I'm not afraid of losing them. Yes.
So in other words, I'm supposed to develop a craving first for a new life other than the one that I'm living.
Exactly.
So this craving is a motivation that is going to actually push me to take an action.
Exactly. It's that picture you have of the life you're trying to build. And somehow, I want you to have a mold. I want you to have an image of what you're trying to build, so that anything else, you repel it easily.
Yeah.
Many times you accommodate wrong things because you're also not clear
Exactly.
of what you're trying to build.
Yeah.
And I told you that one thing you can build for yourself quietly is to imitate Christopher Columbus. Decide you are royal. He had no royal blood at all. He just decided. Then he started mingling among true royalty.
Yeah.
And because he's behaving like one of them, they could not question it. He ended up marrying one there. So now he became, in reality. And he ended up petitioning them to finance big voyages, to find new lands, explorer. Only a government could finance that. It was too much money. But because he had like the queens and the kings, they came to see him as one of them. They financed. That's how we know Christopher started by deciding is royal. Decide it, bro. Dress it. Behave it. Talk it. Carry yourself like royal. Decide that nobody will put you down and call you names or rats or dogs. You're a king. You're a queen. Decide it. It starts there. Make up your mind. That's my life. Whatever you want to start there. Make up your mind. Start walking like it. I have a guy we shared names. He was Form 2 when I was in Form 4. He was called Benjamin. He was Form 2. He used to write everywhere in his locker. Surgeon. And he would read and wear lab coats and just imitate doctors. Today he's a doctor.
Look at that.
I met Benjamin. Did you become? Yeah, I'm a doctor. What? As early as Form 2, we remember him. A lot of people used to mention the word doctor. So, but this one was taking it too far. He was walking like it. You know, the people would buy a toy stethoscope and they have labels that doctor. Yes, decide. And then journey by it until you bring it to reality. And remember, I told you, all greatness is usually placed beyond the reach of the ordinary, so it does not become ordinary. And it is for those who want it or nothing. Decide you want a good life or nothing. Decide early. Everybody in my life will have to operate by my rules or leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Decide, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be a game changer. Always remember, life begins when you make a decision, right? And the only way maybe to stop that problem from recurring is to simply stop participating in the problem. Thank you for watching the Benjamin Zulu Show. Till next time.